What you're gonna see in this video took place over several months, and at that time, gas wasn't exactly cheap, but maybe it seems that way because since then, things have gotten absolutely ridiculous with no signs of stopping. Suddenly, this little science project that I started carries a lot more weight these days, and because of that, I've gone all in. I bought this cheap solar panel from Harbor Freight because I have a lot of batteries that need charging. But can this realistically be done? Can I just take these wires and just hook it up to a battery and make it work? And if I can, how long does it take? I mean, can I get away with not plugging any of my bikes into the wall ever? Let's find out. You see, one of the nice things about electric motorcycles, besides how quiet they are, how torquey they are, how little maintenance they have, there's actually a lot to like, is that their fuel source is renewable and infinite. Unlike these two old-fashioned internal combustion engines that take a gallon or two of refined dyno DNA. These, on the other hand, don't need any of that smelly go-go juice, they just need a plug. Easy and not stinky. So why not just remove the plug entirely and get that power for free? Let's grab some of that solar juice. And I even decided to pick this up on the bike so it's 100% fuel efficient, fossil-free ride. And I got the folding version, although it's a little bit bigger than I thought.
This is actually working a lot better than I expected, but I don't recommend doing this.
And this is the solar panel that I got. It's from Predator and it's a 100-watt folding solar panel. And at the time of getting this, I actually found a $20 off coupon for this. So it turns out that this is actually the cheapest 100-watt solar panel that you can buy at the Harbor Freight. This looks pretty cool. I actually have never played with solar panels before. I was hoping it was gonna be a little bit smaller, but whatever. And it folds out so you can see this big old panel right here so we can gather all of that sun. And then on the back side is this little pouch. I thought it was just a carrying case, and I guess it could be, but this also houses the wires for the power output. So I guess with those connectors, there's a specific connector type, MC4 connections. I'm not 100% familiar with solar panels, but I'm guessing that's a common style connector. I'm definitely more familiar now, and yes, very common. And also taking a look at the stats here, this is also giving out a current of 5.1 amps, which is actually perfect for these type of bikes because almost all of these different batteries typically take a draw at 5 amps. So you think with amperage like that, you'd be able to just take the positive and negative from this solar panel and just plug it directly into the charge port of these batteries, but there's a difference in voltage. One of the other specifications to this solar panel is the maximum voltage, which is only about 24 volts, which makes sense because it's only a 100-watt panel. But with the batteries in these bikes, even if they're deader than dead, they're gonna be well over 24 volts. So there's that imbalance here, and with the higher voltage being in the dead battery, if anything, the flow is gonna wanna go from the dead battery back to the solar panel, so it's gonna make them even deader. So we need to boost the juice from this panel so that we can be able to flow the current in the right direction. So I also have one of these, which is a solar charger boost pack. This is just a little booster pack that I found on Amazon, so this is gonna act as an in-between with the inputs here coming from the solar panel, so the flow is gonna go into this box, and inside of this, it will boost up that voltage so that you can be able to charge things with high voltage like a 72-volt battery pack, and then it will come out of this end, again at 5 amps, but boosted so that it has more voltage behind it. So I guess I was right in assuming that the MC4 connection is pretty standardized with solar panels because that's exactly what these two are for the inputs, so this is a direct plug and play with the solar panel connections. I guess all I have to do is just make the appropriate connections for this so that way I can plug them into the batteries directly. So as much as I hate to say it, I gotta break out the solder. I hate soldering. There we go, much better. This is definitely not my best work, but that's what the plastic covers are for, so I can hide my shame. This is a female XT60 connection because almost all of my batteries in the garage are male XT60s, so this will plug right into it. The only exceptions to that are the Electro & Co battery pack, which takes an XT90, so I made a little adapter. And then there's the oddball in the garage, which is the Ebike villain, which has some weird 3-prong thing, but we're just gonna pretend that doesn't exist here. So now that both the solar panel and the boost controller are plug and play, it's just a matter of connecting the dots, hooking up a battery, and sticking it out in the sun to see what happens. Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow, AKA today. We got some sun, so we got some panels. Let's see if it works. So I got a lot of batteries in the garage that I can test this thing out on, but I think I want to start with this one. This is the Electro & Co 60-volt battery because I haven't used this in a long time, and honestly, I don't care if it blows up. And I have no idea what the battery level is currently with this thing, so I have the voltmeter here set to DC volts. and we'll probe the output and see exactly how much it is. So the camera's doing weird things to the screen, but it says 63.5 volts. So this is actually fairly charged. I think based on a 60 volt pack, this is roughly 80% charged, but we can at least see how long it takes and if it's able to top this up to 100. And the boost controller has woken up. We can see some stats. It looks like when you plug it in, it flashes between the voltage, so the voltage output of the solar panels, and the current. So right now it's saying about 23 and change volts, which makes sense, and 0 amps because it's not plugged into anything. But first, best to let it know what battery it's going to be plugged into so we can tell it that it's a 60 volt. We can give the number of cells and tell it that it's actually lithium ion, so that way it's going to charge appropriately. Now we got the battery. We'll leave that in the shade. In this case, we'll use our little adapter and bombs away. Well, now it's showing that the solar panel is actually transferring amperage from the panel to the battery, and it looks like it's getting up there, so the amperage is slowly increasing. Now it's at 4 and change, so it looks like it's going to get up to the full 5, hopefully. That's bright. Seems to be working. So we plugged it in just after noon. It's 12:07 currently, so we'll leave it in for an hour and see what it does. Another reason to ditch the plug is because it's possible that the energy coming out of my plug is from a source that doesn't hug trees, like gas or coal. But that's the other beauty with EV, because electricity can be generated many different ways without burning stuff. You could use wind, solar, hydro, even waves. Hell, maybe if you combine them all, maybe it's some kind of Captain Planet scenario. Unlike these two bikes that only have one energy source, gasoline. And have you ever stopped to think that you can only use a gallon of gas once? You're buying it to immediately burn it away. And yes, burning it away gets you from point A to B much faster and having much more fun doing it, obviously, on bikes like this. But at the end of the day, you're left with an empty tank and you kind of literally just set your money on fire. And now with prices at almost $7 a gallon in my area, you're setting even more money on fire. And yes, I know you might have something small and fuel efficient like a Honda Grom here, which only takes about a gallon of gas. So that means your total bill is going from $4 and change up to $7. So it's not the end of the world, but you're still burning your money away. So why not ensure that my energy into these bikes is clean and sustainable, and I can remove the plug from my house and all the questions that come from my home energy and just go completely off grid with some sun power. And who knows, maybe the trade-offs aren't as bad as I think they are. Let's see what 1 hour got us in the sun. And it's still trucking away. You can see right now it's at 64.8 volts. Doesn't seem like a lot for an hour, but I think that's pretty good. I think it's still good to just keep it running. Let's see how long it actually takes to get to full 100% and whether or not we can get that done by the end of the day. There we have it, 67.2. That equals 100% charge. And it only took 3.5 hours. I know it sounds absolutely horrible to take over 3 hours just to get 20% additional stated charge on a battery for a bike, but trust me, that's normal. When it comes to electric dirt bikes, or EVs for that matter, the last 20% takes a lot longer, sometimes the exact same amount of time that it would have taken a dead battery to go from 0 all the way up to 80%. It doubles the time. It's like filling a glass of water to the very brim as quick as possible without spilling. It's really easy to dump in the water at first, but the flow needs to slow down at the end not to spill, because a spill would mean overcharging, which means your battery goes pop. So now the question is, how long does this take to charge a dead battery, like fully dead? So we have this bike, which is deader than dead. I know because I had to walk it home. So everything's connected. The solar panel is in the sun. We have the boost pack right down here, and we have it plugged into the battery directly. And we're gonna see exactly how long that takes. It is about 1/4 to noon, and I know that we have about 5 more hours left of sunlight. So hopefully it'll be done by then. Well, it's been over 4 hours now. However, I noticed the amperage, as you can see, is now 0, and it's only showing 15 volts, so I think we actually lost our sunlight. And as we open the garage, yep, we are in the shade. And with the voltage that's showing, 47.2, that is roughly equating to about 55 or so % stated charge. So we had to stretch this to another day, but it's showing 0 amps right now and 54.5 volts, aka 100%. Started at noon and now it's 3:30, so another 3.5 hours to that total. I don't exactly know when this hit 100%, but it's safe to say that between the 2 times, it's about 8 hours total. Plugging that same dead battery into the wall takes basically the exact same amount of time because these chargers are still drawing at 5 amps, so it's definitely worth it there. But you know, if I really wanted to, I could get a second panel for another $100 odd and double up the amperage so that way it's actually charging at 10 amps rather than 5 amps, giving me a fast charger and basically cutting the time in half. And that's exactly what I did. I said I was going all in, so I got a second panel, so I have 200 watts total. They are connected in parallel, so the voltage output is the same, but the amperage is now doubled. And yeah, it's true, you could be able to plug this into the wall at night and still get a charge, but that's an excuse to just buy another battery, maybe a more powerful battery, or multiple bikes. Ride one while you charge the other. Tell that to your wife or girlfriend. You're not just energy efficient, you're time efficient too. But what about cost? This is where I'm sure to get some critics because it's not really free, not yet anyway. For my setup, the panels cost an average of $105 each. Again, I found a coupon and the boost pack that connects to it was $40 on Amazon. So all in, 250 bucks, which I admit up front is an expensive setup. Had I done some research beforehand, I would not have gone to the Harbor Freight. These days, used solar panels are super cheap. You can get 200 watts worth of solar for like 40 bucks. Then there's the cost consideration of charging this bike fully at the plug. For the 25 amp hour pack that I have in this bike, it would cost me a whopping 80 cents. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's actually really, really high. Arguably, we have the highest electric rates in the entire country, so locals here will understand when I say FSD G&E. So with everything that I have into this, I would need to charge my batteries 312 times to break even. Had I gone with a cheaper setup, that would have been more like 100 batteries, but I still think that's entirely doable. For 3 months now, I've charged every single bike on solar alone. Whenever I have a drained battery, I simply throw out the panels on the driveway and plug it in. I'm not exactly sure at this point how many times I've recharged a battery, since a lot of the time it's just topping up, but I would guess at least a dozen. And it'll continue. No doubt with the number of bikes that come in and out of this garage, there's always gonna be one plugged into this setup on any given day. So I can easily get past that 312 battery limit. And that's the other beauty with solar panels, is that it can do 300 charges pretty easily. Hell, it can do 30,000 charges. You see, this right here is a lifetime of electric bike charging for the same cost that it would take me to fill up my car 3 times. How's that for a statistic? This also means that I can charge on the go and experience far and exotic lands like this empty parking lot. But it does make me wonder, could I do this on the move?